Hello, welcome to the IPP Demonstration Sites Inclusionary Practice Spotlight presentation on assistive technology. In this short presentation, we will dive deep into the inclusionary practice of assistive technology, featuring a case study from one of our IPP demonstration sites, Clovis Point Intermediate School in Eastmont School District in East Wenatchee, Washington. To start, what is assistive technology? Assistive technology can include any tool that helps students access learning and increases engagement. AT encompasses a broad category that includes both low and high-tech supports or tools. Low-tech assistive technology can include manual tools, such as pencil grips. High-tech assistive technology can include electronics and software. In the past, high-tech AT took the form of additional software or separate devices that served limited purposes. With advances in technology, assistive technology is often already built into software, web browsers, and electronic devices, all of which make it more widely available to both teachers and students. Some more examples of low-tech devices includes, but are not limited to, pencil grips, raised line paper, magnifiers, highlighters, sticky notes, or paper graphic organizers. A few examples of high-tech devices includes, but are not limited to, text-to-speech, audiobooks, dictation software, electronic forms and graphic organizers, writing prediction software, or math notation tools. So why is assistive technology important? Assistive technology has the capacity to provide ways for all students in the classroom to have improved outcomes to better engage in classroom instruction, materials, and learning. Assistive technology can benefit all students by increasing access to instruction and allowing multiple ways for students to participate in and engage in core content in general education classrooms. Assistive technology can also increase students' independence and provide them with important advocacy skills as they begin to see the ways assistive technology increases engagement and breaks down barriers that can be present in the curriculum and instruction, and when they see how useful they are in classroom learning. We want to see students asking to use assistive technology tools and encourage educators to provide AT supports broadly in their classrooms. So, as we know, oftentimes what's helpful to students who need accommodations is helpful to all students and just turns out to be good instructional practice. Integrating AT tools and supports into teaching and learning has the capacity to empower students to use their voices to get what they need across the school day. Some possible outcomes for using assistive technology includes increased engagement, greater self-advocacy, increased equity by allowing for universally designed supports, and for students to choose or to be encouraged to use those tools or supports to best engage in their learning. It allows for more creative and effective instruction and gives students choice, which can result in greater ownership over their learning. There are myths that assistive technology only entails electronics or software. But in addition to those more high-tech assistive technology tools and supports, as we mentioned earlier, there are a variety of low-tech tools that are available. It's important to remember that assistive technology is not tied to a specific curriculum area. It can encourage and support engagement in a variety of activities, including adaptive skills activities and social emotional learning. At times we hear in classrooms, I gave them the tool, insert whatever assistive technology tool here, but the student isn't using it. It's important to remember that much of the time, students need to be taught to use these tools. And because they have not had access to AT before, they might have been frustrated as a result of the barriers present in the curriculum, and therefore might be resistant at first. But it's important to show how assistive technology can increase engagement, break down those barriers, and result in more efficient and effective learning processes. When teams are planning together, co-planning, remember to include in the planning process how assistive technology might be used to universally support the learning in addition to providing more specific supports for students. Keep in mind, as we've mentioned before, that there are many assistive technology tools that enhance and make accessible or make more engaging a variety of lessons. So consider including them in your thinking and planning when you're providing universal supports for all students in classrooms. So we move on to our case study, one of our IPP demonstration sites, Clovis Point Intermediate School in Wenatchee, Washington, Eastmont School District. Clovis Point Intermediate School likes to describe the technology they use to support all students as accessible technology instead of assistive technology. They use this term because it really illustrates their commitment to making sure all students are getting what they need and view the use of technology not as a special education support, but as an inclusive education support that builds community, engagement, and accessibility for all students in their classrooms. Accessible technology can be defined as technology that's beneficial for those with and without disabilities. For example, a smartphone with built-in speech-to-text capabilities, where assistive technology historically has been described as any device or service that is used to increase, maintain, or improve the functional capabilities for an individual with a disability, like a screen reader software for a computer. What Clovis Point discovered when they started using technology initially to support students with disabilities is that these universal tools were good for everyone, and that providing choice is also good for everyone. Clovis Point's sixth grade science and math teacher, Kesley Grode, found that when she was using technology such as audio to read instruction or audio answers for students, when barriers were present in the curriculum for students with different reading or writing needs, that not only helped students with IEPs in her classroom, but also that these tools increase engagement across her entire class. Students appreciated getting immediate feedback for answers and additional scaffolds built into the technology. And Kelsey found that the technology allowed her to create a variety of assessments and assignments for her class that provided more accurate information about what her students needed and really informed her instruction. Additionally, the technology Kesley used provided easy avenues to adapt assignments and provide choices for students. And she noticed something in her classes. Her students were feeling empowered. For the first time in her teaching career, she really felt like she was hearing all students' voices and learned a lot about how her students were engaging and learning, which allowed for her to adjust her instruction accordingly. Clovis Point started to realize that when they put systems in place to allow for student engagement, it ensured that all students were included in those systems. This was foundational in shifting their inclusive mindset from providing supports to just a few to providing supports for everyone to create a culture where all students were empowered to use differentiated tools and strategies to learn. This was also an important shift for teachers in understanding that universal tools were a pathway to a more inclusive learning environment. To hear more about Clovis Point's story and to learn about some of the accessible technology tools they use in their school, download their webinars on our website at ippdemosites.org and check out their deep dive webinar. Our takeaways about assistive technology, or accessible technology as Clovis Point calls it. When there are systems in place to recognize student success or engagement, it ensures that each and every student is included in those systems. Assistive technology is best utilized when it's provided as a universal support to all learners instead of considered an accommodation or modification for a select few. It can open doors for students to engage in and show what they've learned in a variety of ways. And as educators, it provides us with the means to provide choices for our students to allow them to most effectively engage in the learning process. Thank you for joining me for the IPP Demonstration Site's Inclusionary Practices Spotlight on Assistive Technology, featuring IPP Demonstration Site Clovis Point Intermediate School in Eastmont School District. Please check out the following resources, and we'll see you again for another tip sheet spotlight from the UW Herring Center IPP Demonstration Sites team.